Hey everyone, welcome to Homeschool. And today I am back with important questions on a chapter carbon and its compounds. So this is the most important chapters in chemistry of class 10 because lots of concept is involved and twisted questions, that is application questions, can come from this particular chapter. And today's session and today's video is specially for SSLC board students. And that too, the people who are writing 2021 examination. Okay, because for the 2021 examination, few topics of the chapter got deleted. Excluding that, I am telling you the most expected questions that can come for 2021 examination. Clear? So all aspects of expected topics of the chapter I am going to cover in this video. So this is definitely a very important video of a chapter, carbon and its compound, for SSLC students who are writing 2021 exam. Okay, before going to the questions, I will tell you what portion of the chapter is deleted. See, we have studied the properties of ethanol and the properties of ethanoic acid. That is the last concept of the chapter. Reactions of ethanol we studied, reactions of ethanoic acid we studied. So both topics are completely deleted from the chapter. So excluding the deleted topics, whatever is there in a chapter, that I am covering in the form of question and answers. So definitely you can expect few questions from the questions that I am doing in today's session. So please concentrate. Fine. Let us quickly go for question number 1. That is, write electron dot structures of the following. See, I have covered the most important compounds of the chapter. Carbon dioxide, methane, C2H6 is what? This is ethane, right? And this is ethene, and this is ethyne, and cyclopropane. So you must definitely know how to draw electron dot structures for these compounds, right? So I will show step by step. Try to understand the concept. First, I will take a simple compound, carbon dioxide. Okay, so how do you write the electron dot structure for carbon dioxide? See, show it at the center. One oxygen here, the other oxygen this side, right? And now write the valence electrons that is present on carbon. Carbon has 4 valence electrons. So I will write these 4 electrons as 4 crosses. This is 1 valence electron, 2nd valence electron, 3rd valence electron, and 4th valence electron. Okay. Similarly, write the valence electrons on oxygen also. So oxygen has how many valence electrons? 6 valence electrons. Say this particular knowledge you should have. Otherwise, you cannot write the dot structures for the compound. Clear? Fine. Say the 6 electrons I will represent like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This oxygen also has 6 valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, na? So fine. And now I have to circle the atoms. Say each atom, each oxygen atom should have 8 electrons around it. Each carbon, I mean the carbon that is there here, this should also have 8 electrons around it. So you have to show 8 electrons around each and every atoms by circling it. Okay, so let us circle this oxygen atom. So how many electrons does this oxygen has around it? Already it has 6 electrons of its own, and now it will take 2 more electrons from carbon, isn't it? Okay, so let me put these 4 electrons as something like this. Here I'll put 2 crosses and here I'll put 2 crosses. So the convenient way of showing. So 6 electrons are already there on oxygen, 2 more it will take from carbon. So together you are putting one circle on oxygen. Likewise, you have to circle this oxygen. Say already 6 electrons are there, 2 more it needs, so it will take from carbon. So these 8 electrons together you are showing in one circle. And now you have to circle carbon. So carbon already had 4 electrons, so it needs 4 more electrons from other atoms. 2 electrons it will take from this oxygen, 2 electrons it will take from this oxygen. So together you have to show 8 electrons, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Together I am showing a big circle on carbon, right? So this is the electron dot structure for carbon dioxide. Or you can also write C, and you see 2 bonds are formed with this oxygen, 2 bonds are formed with this oxygen, and you see this is the shared area, right? So how many electrons are there in shared area? 4 electrons are there. So 2 electrons together makes 1 bond, another 2 electron makes another bond. So 2 bonds between this carbon and this oxygen. And likewise, this is the shared area between carbon and oxygen. It also has 4 electrons, so 2 bonds. And unshared electrons you have to mention. So 4 unshared electrons are there. So that I am mentioning here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this or this, anything you can write as a dot structure for carbon dioxide. Clear? Fine. And now let us go for writing dot structure for methane. So how do you write it for methane? So you observe here carbon. Methane has 1 carbon and 4 hydrogens, isn't it? I'll write like this. So this is 1 hydrogen, 2nd hydrogen, 3rd hydrogen, 4th hydrogen. And now write valence electrons. How many valence electrons are there on carbon? 4 valence electrons are there. So this is 1 valence electron, 2nd valence electron, 3rd valence electron, 4th valence electron. Okay, now how many valence electrons are there on hydrogen? Just 1 electron. So this is the valence electron on this hydrogen, valence electron of this hydrogen, valence electron of this hydrogen, and valence electron of this hydrogen. Okay, now circling business you have to do. So for carbon you should show 8 electrons, and for hydrogen you are supposed to show only 2 electrons. For hydrogen you can't show 8 electrons, isn't it? You can only show 2 electrons because in its nearest noble gas we have only 2 electrons, that is in helium. So circle carbon atoms first. 8 electrons you have to show. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 already you have. So 4 more electrons you are taking from 4 hydrogen atoms. So a big circle covering all the electrons. And now circle hydrogen atom. In the circle of hydrogen atom you should have 2 electrons, right? So 2 electrons together you have to circle all the hydrogen atoms. That's it. So this is the electron dot structure for methane. Okay, so now electron dot structure for ethane I'm showing you. See here, ethane, how do you write? C2H4, isn't it? So 2 carbons are there, write like this, and 2 hydrogen atoms, isn't it? So 1 hydrogen atom, show it here, another hydrogen atom, show it here, and here 1 hydrogen atom, here another hydrogen atom. Okay, so now put valence electrons on this carbon. 4 valence electron. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this carbon also has 4 valence electron. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And now how many valence electrons are there on hydrogen? Just 1 here for this hydrogen. This hydrogen also has 1 valence electron. This hydrogen also has 1 valence electron. This hydrogen also has 1 valence electron. Okay, so now what you have to do? Circle all hydrogen atoms. So hydrogen atoms, when you circle, you should take 2 electrons, right? So this is how I can circle all hydrogen atoms. Now you have to circle carbon atoms, isn't it? Say when you circle the carbon atom, how many electrons should come in that circle? 8 electrons should come. So which are the 8 electrons you will take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all these electrons together, put a big circle and show it for this carbon. Now same way you have to show it for this carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all these electrons consider and show a big circle for this carbon. Right? So this is the electron dot structure for ethane. Or you can also write its structure, electron dot structure, as C double bond C H H H H. It's normal structure, right? So this one can be written as this also. Okay, fine. And now electron dot structure for ethene, right? So what is ethene? Ethene structure, how do you write? Two carbon atoms are there and two hydrogen atoms. One hydrogen atom, show it here, another hydrogen atom, show it here. Okay, so now write the valence electrons on this carbon atom. How do you write? 1, 2, 3. 3 electrons I wrote here, 1 electron I am writing here. Okay, similarly this carbon's valence electrons are also 4. So 3 electrons I'll write here, 1 electron I'll write here. Okay, valence electrons and hydrogen. So 1 valence electron for this hydrogen, 1 valence electron for this hydrogen. Okay, circle hydrogen atoms now. When you circle hydrogen atoms, in its circle, 2 electrons should come, right? So these are the 2 electrons you will consider along with that one circle. So these are the 2 electrons you will consider for this hydrogen. So one big circle like this. And now you have to circle carbon atom. So whenever you circle carbon atom, 8 electrons should come in that circle, isn't it? So which are the 8 electrons you will consider for this carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all these electrons together, you have to give a big circle for this carbon. Similarly, you should circle this carbon. So all these electrons together, it becomes 8. You are writing a big circle. So ultimately, how do you write its structure? You see, shared region has 6 electrons, no. So between carbon and carbon, you have 3 bonds and one more bond with this hydrogen, another bond with this hydrogen, right? So this is the dot structure for ethene. And now you have a very special compound, that is cyclobutane. Okay, let us first write the dot structure for cyclobutane. Cyclobutane. So what do you mean by a cyclobutane? You have 4 carbon atoms that is in the form of a cyclic way. So that means those 4 carbon atoms I am showing like this. First carbon, second carbon, third carbon, fourth carbon. Okay, na? Fine. So now each carbon has 2 hydrogen atoms, isn't it? So this is one hydrogen atom, this is another hydrogen atom. This is one hydrogen atom, this is another hydrogen atom. And this is one hydrogen atom, this is another hydrogen atom. First hydrogen, second hydrogen. See, actually if its structure I have to write C, C, C. Here one hydrogen, here one hydrogen. This carbon has one hydrogen, this carbon has another hydrogen. Hydrogen, hydrogen. Even this carbon has 2 hydrogen. This is the actual structure of cyclobutane. Okay, so now you have to show the dot structure, right? So I have arranged like its structure, I have arranged the 4 carbon atoms and all these hydrogen atoms. Okay, so how many valence electrons are there on this carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many valence electrons are there on this carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4. Here 1, 2, 3, 4. So here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, na? So all valence electrons you are showing on carbons. Now valence electrons of hydrogen. So this is the valence electron of this hydrogen. 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 Valence electron of this hydrogen, valence electron of this hydrogen, valence electron of this hydrogen. Okay, na? Valence electron of this hydrogen. So here you no need to show a circle here. Even if you don't show a circling thing, you will get a mark here. So when the dot structure of cyclobutane, cyclopentane, cyclopropane is asked, you can just show something like this. Okay, and show like this all valence electrons on carbon, and finally show its complete structure by putting a bonds. Okay, then you will get a full mark. Clear, everybody? So this will be the dot structure for cyclobutane. So similarly, I am giving a homework for you. You can try the dot structure for cyclopentane. Cyclopentane. Okay, so how do you write the structure for cyclopentane? Actually, cyclopentane can be written like this. Say carbon atoms are arranged in the form of pentagon like this. Each carbon has 2 electrons. Each carbon has 2 electrons, right? So this is actually the structure of cyclopentane. Okay, now you have to write the dot structure for cyclopentane. Similar to that, Put each carbon in this way. Don't put the bonds. Remove all the bonds and show the valence electrons of carbons, all carbons, and show the valence electrons of all hydrogens. So in this format, in this pattern, you have to arrange and show the valence electrons on all carbons and hydrogen. Okay, so when a compound is this much complex, we don't expect you to show or put the circles around it. Okay, so just show the valence electrons on a respective atoms and hydrogen atoms in a particular shape. Pentane in the sense pentagon shape. Butane in the sense what? This is a square shape, isn't it? So this is how you have to write the dot structures of the compounds. So definitely dot structure is a very important concept for this year. So at least one compound's dot structure can be asked. Clear? Fine. So this is our first topic of the chapter, important one. Okay. So now you can look at the second question here. The functional groups present in propanol, propanol, and propanoic acid. Can you tell me propanol, all in the sense what? You will have definitely an alcoholic group here. So how do you show the alcoholic group? OH group is called as alcoholic group, isn't it? So which is the functional group present in propanol? It is alcoholic group. How do you write the structure of alcoholic group? It is OH. Okay. Okay. So name is there. If you have to write its structure, how do you write? This is another aspect of a question actually. So propanol structure, how can you write, guys? Prop in the sense what? 3 carbon atoms are there, isn't it? So all is there. Which functional group attached to one of the carbon? OH group is attached. Now you put how many ever hydrogens are necessary. Always remember, around carbon you should have 4 bonds. Say already 1 bond is there. So you have to put 3 bonds, and those 3 bonds you have to show it with hydrogen. Okay, na? Fine. And now coming to this carbon, 2 bonds are already there. So 2 more bonds it wants. So those bonds you will show it with hydrogen. Coming to this carbon, again 2 more bonds it require. Those bonds you will show it with hydrogen. So this is actually the structure of propanol. Clear? So fine. Which is the functional group present in it? Alcoholic group, that is OH. So now, what is the functional group present in propanol? All in the sense what? Here you will have aldehydic group. Aldehydic group that can be written as CHO. CHO is called aldehyde group. If I can elaborate and write it, I can also write it as CH double bond O. So this is the elaborate structure of CHO. Clear? Fine. And now they are asking, what is the functional group present in propanol? On means what? Ketone group, isn't it? So ketone group, how do you write? C double bond O is called ketone group. Okay, fine. And propanoic acid. So here, which is the functional group present? Carboxylic acid is the functional group present. And how do you write its structure? COOH is called carboxylic acid functional group. Clear? So this is how about the functional groups and compounds they may ask you. Clear? And also their names and how to write the structures in a simple way. Just a very basic idea, if you can understand, it is more than enough. Say if you want to understand about how to name the compounds and how to write the structure, very beautifully I have explained in the chapter called Carbon and its Compounds. You have so many parts in a chapter. Its playlist link I will provide in the description. You can watch and learn how to write the names and how to write the structures. Clear? Fine. And you can also watch the revision video on carbon and its compounds. So all the aspects I have covered in the revision video, that playlist link also I will provide in the description. Clear? Fine. So this is another aspect of the chapter which you have to concentrate a lot. Okay, so functional groups, functional group structure, and if the names, if the compound, organic compounds are given like this, how to write their structures, how to write their formula, all that is a very, very important concept. Fine. And now let us go for the next question. Coming to the third question, guys. Write the molecular formula and structural formula of alkene having 5 carbon atoms. So this is another type of a question which is really very important. See, you should write the molecular formula for 5 carbon atoms and also structural formula. Okay, first I will show you how to write the structure. 5 carbon alkene, they said no. So put 5 carbons with the single bonds first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a alkene, right? Alkene in the sense the hydrocarbon which has a double bond. Okay. So between the last carbons, either you can consider these 2 carbons or you can consider these 2 carbons. So only you consider the last carbons. Between them put 1 double bond. Right? Over. Your skeleton is over. Now put how many ever hydrogens are required for each carbon. Say around carbon you should have 4 bonds. 1 bond is already there. So 3 more bonds are still required. So put 3 more bonds with hydrogen. That's it. And coming to this carbon, 2 bonds already there. 2 more bonds with 2 hydrogens. This carbon also 2 bonds with 2 hydrogens. And this carbon, 3 bonds are already there around it. This side 1 bond is there. This side 2 bonds are there. 1 bond is required for this carbon, isn't it? So I have put 1 bond. And now 2 bonds for this carbon. Over. This is your structural formula. This is your structural formula of alkene having 5 carbon atoms. So what is the name you will give for this compound? 5 carbons, no. So you will write it as pent, and double bond is there, no. So ENA. So this is actually a pentene. Okay, so its molecular formula they have asked you. Molecular formula in the sense shortcut formula. How many carbons are there? 5. So write it as C5. How many hydrogens are there? Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Isn't it? So C5H10 is the molecular formula of pentene, and this is the structural formula of pentene. Isn't it? So this is, say here I selected 5 carbon containing alkene. They may ask you structure of 3 carbon containing alkyne or structure of 6 carbon containing alkane, right? So alkane is what? All single bonds between carbon atoms. Alkene, if they ask, put 1 double bond at the last carbon. Alkyne variety, if they ask, put triple bond at the last carbon. See how many carbon atoms containing compound they have asked you. So carefully you have to write the structural formula and molecular formula. Right? Okay. So one homework for you here is write the structural and molecular formula for 4 carbon containing alkyne. Similarly, write the structural and molecular formula for 6 carbon containing alkane. Okay, so this is your homework. Practice it and get perfect with the concept. Fine. And now very, very important question, simple question yet very important. Many times it was a repeated question in the previous board papers. So I selected this question. Carbon atom does not form C-4 anion and C+4 cation. Why? You know, the same question can be asked in another way. They can also ask the question as carbon does not form ionic compounds. Why, they will ask. Say answer is same. Why carbon cannot form ionic compound is it cannot form C-4 anion and C+4 cation. That is why carbon do not form ionic compounds. Okay. Now the question is why it cannot form C-4 anion and C+4 cation. It is because, write the answer, due to small size of carbon, it cannot lose it cannot lose 4 electrons to become C plus 4 cation. If it has to become C plus 4 cation, carbon has to lose 4 electrons. Whereas because it is small in size, it cannot lose 4 electrons at a time. That is the reason it cannot become C plus 4 cation. Because of the same reason, because of the small size, it cannot gain 4 electrons to become C minus 4. If it gains 4 electrons, it can become C minus 4 anion, isn't it? It cannot gain 4 electrons at a time and it cannot lose 4 electrons at a time. It is all because the carbon is very small in size. Clear? So this is the answer for this question. Fine. And coming to the next topic, the next aspect of the chapter, you have different types of reactions. We studied combustion reaction in a chapter. We studied addition reaction, studied oxidation reaction, as well as substitution reactions, isn't it? So direct definitions can be asked on those reactions. So definitely you should learn definitions of those reactions with one example. That is a compulsory topic that you have to concentrate. So on those reactions, I have selected one question which is from previous board paper. Very important question. Read it carefully. Explain the addition and substitution reactions of, explain the addition and substitution reactions. That is one part of a question. And the sub question under this is C2H4 undergoes substitution reaction but does not undergo addition reaction. Why? Okay. First, let us finish off the direct question here. They asked you the definition of addition reaction and substitution reaction, right? So what is the definition of addition reaction? Unsaturated hydrocarbons undergo addition reaction. Remember this, guys. Unsaturated hydrocarbons, in the sense compounds which have double bond or triple bond can only undergo addition reaction. Okay, clear? So unsaturated, I'm writing it in a shortcut. Okay, so you don't write HC in the sense hydrocarbon. Unsaturated hydrocarbons undergo addition reaction, right? Say for example, I have taken C double bond C H. Okay, so for this, when I add hydrogen in presence of nickel and on heating, what do you get? You just add one hydrogen atom to this carbon, another hydrogen atom to this carbon, double bond will become single bond, isn't it? So among the two hydrogens, one atom to this carbon, one atom to this carbon, when you add, double bond becomes single bond. So you will get a compound, this one, double bond becomes a single bond and added hydrogen atom, that is ethane, you will get ethane. That means from ethene you have got ethane. So this is the example for addition reaction. Okay, so normally, see, very shortcut definition I gave you. You can refer the textbook for the complete definition of addition reaction. Just the concept clarity I gave you here. Clear? Fine. And now substitution reactions. Say, remember guys, always saturated hydrocarbons undergo substitution reactions. Clear? So this particular concept is very important. Always saturated, that means carbon compounds with single bonds can only undergo substitution reaction, right? So what is the example that you can give here? Say you can take CH4. So when you react CH4 with chlorine in presence of sunlight, you know what happens? One of the hydrogen atom of CH4 is getting substituted by one Cl atom. So you will get CH3Cl, right? Among the 4 hydrogen atom, remove one hydrogen, add one Cl, right? Plus what is the byproduct? You have removed hydrogen, no, that will combine with the remaining atom of Cl. So you will get HCl. So this is the example for substitution reaction. So if the definition is asked, I mean, you have to define it. So how do you define? In alkanes, one of the hydrogen atom gets substituted by chlorine atom in presence of sunlight. Okay, this reaction is called substitution, or you can just refer the textbook also for complete definition, right? So this is actually the concept of substitution reaction. Fine. So like this direct way can be asked. Similarly, they will ask you what is oxidation reaction and what is one more reaction? Combustion reaction. Okay. So 4 reactions, definitions and examples. Remember that particular concept you have to study. Okay, fine. And now you see the second part of the question. You have to be very careful. C2H6 undergoes substitution reaction but not addition reaction. Why? First, let us find out what is this C2H6. So how do you write the structure of C2H6? 2 carbon atoms, put one single bond, and 6 hydrogen atoms are there, no? 3 hydrogen atoms to 1 carbon, remaining 3 hydrogen atoms to another carbon, right? So actually what is C2H6? It is nothing but ethane. And we all know our ethane is saturated hydrocarbon. What did I just now told? Saturated hydrocarbons undergo substitution. Unsaturated hydrocarbon, that means hydrocarbons with double bond or triple bond, undergoes addition. Right? So ulta thing will never happen. That means your saturated compounds will never undergo addition. Your unsaturated compounds will never undergo substitution. Clear? Fine. So what is the answer you will give? Since ethane is saturated, it will only undergo substitution reaction. It will not undergo addition reaction. What is the answer for that? Because ethane is saturated hydrocarbon. Clear? So this is how the questions can be asked on that part of the concept, that is the reactions of organic compounds. The 4 reactions, very, very important. Clear? Fine. Let us go for few more questions. Look at the next question, guys. Little application questions. Both of them are little twisted. Hydrocarbon X and Y having molecular formula C3H8 and C3H6. So our X is having a molecular formula C3H8. Our Y has a molecular formula C3H6. Fine. Both are burnt in different spatula. So spatula is something on which a compound can be burnt. Okay. Indicate the color of the flame. Both are burnt on Bunsen flame. Indicate the color of the flame produced by X and Y. Write structural formula of X and Y. See here, see we have studied combustion reaction, isn't it? See, combustion reaction in the sense something burning in presence of oxygen, right? And we studied a concept that saturated hydrocarbons burn completely. They will burn completely. I mean, they will undergo combustion completely. How do you know that they are undergoing combustion completely? They will give blue flame when you burn them. So saturated hydrocarbons are giving blue flame. Likewise, if you go for unsaturated hydrocarbons, their combustion is incomplete. Yes or no? They will burn incompletely, giving what colored flame? They will give yellow colored flame with lots of smoke. Yes or no? So yellow colored flame with lots of smoke. So this is what you have to remember about the combustion reactions, guys. So all hydrocarbons undergo combustion, no doubt, but saturated hydrocarbons, complete combustion they will undergo. And how do you know that they are undergoing complete combustion? They will give you blue flame. And unsaturated hydrocarbons undergo incomplete combustion and they will give you yellow flame. So they are asking, what colored flame do you get when you burn X and Y? They are asking. So to answer this question, first you must know whether X and Y are saturated or unsaturated. If you want to know whether they are saturated or unsaturated, you have to write the structural formula of X and Y. Okay, so what is our X here? I am writing structural formula of X. C3H8, 3 carbons are there now, put 3 bonds. Okay, and 8 hydrogens. Okay, how do you arrange the 8 hydrogens? You can put 3 hydrogens here, you can put 3 hydrogens here, 6 hydrogens are over, remaining are 8 hydrogen. And now you check valency of carbon satisfied. Every carbon has 4 bonds, right? So, okay, so this is the structure of C3H8. And tell me whether this is saturated or unsaturated. See, all single bonds are there between carbon and carbon, no? So, definitely this belong to saturated hydrocarbon. So, saturated hydrocarbons on burning, which colored flame do they give? Blue flame. So this compound is giving blue flame. Clear? Because it is saturated. And this is the structural formula. Likewise, write the structural formula of C3H6. So C3H6, that is our Y compound. How do you write? 3 carbon atoms. Say 6 hydrogen atoms, in the sense, you will have one double bond between any 2 carbon. And now you can put 6 hydrogen atoms. This carbon has 3 and here 3 bonds are already there, 1 hydrogen, and here it will have 2 hydrogens. So how many hydrogens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you have given justice for this particular formula, right? So now you see this compound has C double bond C, that is unsaturated hydrocarbon. So definitely it will give you what colored flame? It will give you yellow colored flame and it will burn with smoke, lots of smoke. Clear everyone? Say whenever an hydrocarbon undergoes incomplete combustion, it will give you lots of smoke. Okay, and there is one question that if the vessels, bottom of the vessels become smoky, if they become dark at the bottom, what is the reason, they ask? It is because that the compound is burning incompletely, so you get a smoke and that will occupy the bottom of the vessels, right? So that is another question which you have it in NCERT exercise questions also. So I am just reminding you since the topic has come. Clear? So this is how the questions can be asked on combustion reaction. It's really an application based question where you must know the complete knowledge. Fine. Coming to the next question. A compound X has molecular formula C4H10. It undergoes substitution reaction readily than addition. Identify X and give balanced equation for its combustion and substitution. Okay, so first let us identify what is this X. You have to write its structural formula. And they have given a clue here. This particular compound is undergoing substitution. It is not undergoing addition. That means that C4H10 is saturated compound. So saturated compound means, how do you write its formula? You will put all carbon-carbon single bonds, 4 carbons, and you satisfy the remaining valency, remaining bonds by putting hydrogen, right? So this carbon needs 3 more bonds, so 3 hydrogens, and here 2 hydrogens, here 2 hydrogens, and here 3 hydrogens. So how many hydrogens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is our compound, right? So over. First identify X, so X is this, and what is its name? 4 carbon and all single bonds. So I can call this compound as butane. It is nothing but the alkane variety which is called as butane. And you see the second part of a question. They are asking balanced equation for combustion. So how do you show combustion reaction for butane? C4H10, combustion in the sense burning with oxygen, and always what are the products you will get on combustion? Carbon dioxide and water. So balanced equation. Balance this side 4 carbon atoms, here you will put 4, and check with the hydrogen. 10 hydrogen atoms are there, and here 2 are there, so let me put 5 here. Okay, now balance oxygen atoms. How many oxygen atoms this side? 4 2s are 8, 8 plus 5, altogether 13 oxygen atoms are there. This side you have to show 13 oxygen atoms, no? So how do you show 13 by 2? You can write 13 by 2. You are not supposed to put the fraction there. So to remove the fraction, I will multiply the whole equation by 2. So what do I get my equation as? 2C4H10 plus 13 by 2 into 2. 2 gets cancelled. I will get 13 O2. 4 2s are 8 CO2 plus 5 2s are 10 H2O. So this is the balanced equation for combustion reaction of butane. Okay, and they are also asking you write the substitution reaction for this. So how do you write the substitution reaction? Let me show you here. C4H10 substitution reaction means reaction with chlorine in presence of sunlight, isn't it? So what did you do here? One hydrogen, you remove it. In the place of one hydrogen, put one Cl. So you can write, if you remove one hydrogen, this will get converted as C4H9, put one bond and Cl plus HCl. So this is how you can write the substitution reaction for butane formula. Clear? So this is how the questions can be asked. And let us go for one important last question on this particular chapter. I have a question on a last topic of a chapter, that is soaps and detergents. So one of the very famous question on a chapter is explain cleansing action of a soap. That is, explain how soap cleans the clothes. Okay, and one more question on a soap only. Why soaps do not work in hard water? Or the question can be asked like this. More amount of soap is required to clean the clothes in hard water. Why? Right? Say this is how a question can be asked. Say first question here, explain how soap cleans the cloth, or explain the cleansing action of a soap. So how do you write this? See, first you tell what do you mean by a soap. What do you mean by a soap? Sodium salt of carboxylic acids are called soaps, isn't it? So how do you represent a soap molecule? Say you will write a soap molecule diagrammatically as like this. So this is a head part, this is a tail part. Tail part is hydrophobic in nature, that means it will not like to dissolve in water. And head part is hydrophilic in nature. Hydrophilic in the sense it has nice attraction with water, isn't it? Okay, so what happens when we rub a cloth with soap molecules? With soap, what happens? Many soap molecules come together to form a structure called micelle. So here forms a structure called micelle. In the sense, say for example, you can show this diagram, no problem. If this is a dirt particle, this is our dirt particle. Okay, so when you wrap a cloth which contains a dirt particle, what happens? You will rub it with a soap, no? So many of soap molecules would come and arrange like this around the dirt. See, this is one soap molecule, this is another soap molecule, this is another soap molecule, this is the other one, like this. All soap molecules would come and form a structure like this. This structure where soap molecules have arranged like this is called as micelle. See, around the dirt, this is your dirt. See, all tails together, all heads protruding outside. Okay, so what happens? A structure called micelle is formed. No, what happens here? Third point I'm writing, right? This is the first point you can write, soap definition. This is the second point, and this is your third point. So all tails which are hydrophobic gets attached to dirt particle on cloth, and all heads protrudes outside. So all heads are facing outside, all tails are getting attached to a dirt particle. Now what will you do? You will flush with the water. When you flush with the water, since head has nice attachment with water, head will go with water. Head will take away its tail. Ultimately, tail will take away dirt, and that way cloth gets cleaned. Okay, na? So what do we write here? When water is flushed, all heads goes away with water. So what happens here? Head takes away tails. So ultimately what is happening? Tails take away dirt, right? So that way cloth will get cleaned. Got it? So this is the answer for the cleansing action of a soap, or how soap cleans a cloth. Okay, and now let us go for the next part of a question. What is that? More amount of soap is required to clean the cloths in hard water, or soap will not work properly in a hard water, is because hard water has calcium +2 and magnesium +2 ions. Okay, so soap reacts with these ions forming an insoluble substance called scum. Okay, so instead of soap forming a lather means that foam that you get out of the soap. Say foam you are getting, in the sense it is understood that lots of micelles are formed. Say whenever you get a foam, then only soap clean the cloths. Say here foam you are not getting. It is because the soap molecules are reacting with calcium and magnesium to form an insoluble substance called scum. Clear? So this is the answer for the second part of the question. So this is really a very important topic, right? And apart from the questions I discussed, the simple definitions can be asked, like, what are detergents, they will ask you. What do you mean by detergents, they'll ask. Or they will ask you one very important question, that is homologous series. They'll ask you what is homologous series and give example. Or they will give you certain compounds and they'll ask you which of them belong to homologous series. Okay, na? So that is also a very famous question on homologous series. You must completely understand the concept. For that, you can refer my videos on carbon and its compounds, or they may ask you one straight away question, differences type of a question. Give the differences between saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Saturated and unsaturated hydrocarbons. Okay, say these are the simple definitions that can be asked on these topics. So with this, I have covered all the important topics in the chapter. Definitely, maximum questions can be asked from these topics that I covered in today's video. So really, I'm telling you, if you can watch this video and understand, definitely you will become confident with the chapter. You can answer almost all the questions that they ask from the chapter. Okay, so I have covered all important aspects. So do concentrate and become perfect with the chapter. Fine. And in my next video, I am coming up with a passing package thing for SSLC board examination 2021. See, it is not only a passing package. If you can stick to the video that I am doing in the next week, you can at least score 45 and 45 above marks out of 80. So do watch my next video on passing package for SSLC board 2021. Clear? So with this, I am completing a session. Do watch all our videos and subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in a easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.